Ship 26 Static Fire Test. ISRO's Gaganyaan mission. SpaceX's Starlink success.
Hello everyone, welcome back. Here is our new episode with latest SpaceX and space news. So, let's get started.
Today, Ship 26 showcased a flight-like startup by performing a single-engine static fire, marking a significant step towards its upcoming test campaign. First, Ship 26 made the journey from the production site to test stand A, indicating that it was gearing up for some important tests. SpaceX initiated a cryogenic (cryo) test on Ship 26 as part of the preparations. Following the cryo test, SpaceX took a day to thoroughly check the ship's readiness and then moved forward with the highly anticipated static fire test. About an hour before the static fire, fueling of the ship began. The countdown held at T-40 seconds to allow the fuel temperatures to cool to the required levels. Once the temperatures hit the mark, the countdown resumed. In a thrilling moment, Ship 26 ignited one of its Raptor engines and performed a full-duration static fire that lasted for approximately 7 seconds. The engines were shut down as planned, marking the test as a resounding success. SpaceX later confirmed this on their social media platform, X. It's clear that SpaceX has a well-defined plan for Ship 26. With Ship 25 and Booster 9 in the final stages of their test flights, the fate of those prototypes is now in the hands of the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA. To keep the momentum going, SpaceX is focusing on scaling up Ship 26 and similar prototypes, making them ready for future flights. This proactive approach ensures that once they receive FAA approval for additional Starship Super Heavy test flights, they'll be poised to spring into action with these already prepared prototypes. Despite SpaceX's readiness, the FAA is a crucial part of the puzzle. SpaceX recently posted on their social media platform that they are preparing for additional pre-flight tests in advance of a full launch rehearsal while continuing to work with the FAA on the Flight 2 license. I think they are posting this for the third time, indicating their readiness. Hope the FAA will make the procedures really fast. I am super excited to see the next orbital flight of Starship Super Heavy. What about you all? Are you excited? Comment below. India is on a remarkable journey to become the fourth nation in the world, after Russia, the United States, and China, to send astronauts into space using its own spacecraft. This spacecraft, called Gaganyaan, recently had its first test flight, bringing India one step closer to achieving this incredible feat. Originally, the Gaganyaan's test flight was planned for Saturday, October 21st, but the launch had to be delayed because of bad weather conditions. Sometimes, space missions have to wait for the right moment, and this was one of those times. However, after a little patience, the skies cleared up, and the launch was given the green light at 3:15 Universal Time Coordinated. At first, everything seemed to be going according to plan during the initial launch. But then, just 5 seconds before liftoff, T5 seconds, there was a problem. The booster engine didn't start. The flight computer quickly stopped the countdown. This was a temporary setback, though, because they figured out what went wrong. They decided to try again, and the second launch attempt was scheduled for 4:30 Universal Time Coordinated on the same day. The second time was the charm. The booster engine ignited successfully, and the launch escape system was put to the test. This system is like a safety net for astronauts, and it worked as planned. The Gaganyaan capsule, which is where the astronauts would sit, released its drogue and main parachutes. Everything happened just as they hoped, and the capsule safely splashed down in the water. This meant the flight was a success. The chairman of the Indian Space Research Organisation, ISRO, S. Somanath, was very happy and announced that the TVD-1 mission was accomplished. For this test flight, they used an uncrewed Gaganyaan test capsule. It sat on top of a single L-40 booster. This booster was derived from the strap-on boosters used on another Indian rocket called GSLV Mk2. The plan was for the rocket to take the capsule up to an altitude of about 11 kilometers before they intentionally called off the mission. Everything went according to the plan. Afterward, They tested the launch escape system to make sure it would protect astronauts in case something went wrong during a real mission. Then, the capsule, which was not pressurized, came back down with the help of parachutes and landed safely in the Bay of Bengal, about 10 kilometers from where it took off. They had planned for the capsule to touch down in the water at a speed of 8.5 meters per second. This test flight was the first step towards sending humans into space on the Gaganyaan spacecraft. The next big milestones are another abort test, which is like practicing an emergency escape, and an uncrewed flight of the entire Gaganyaan spacecraft, with all its systems, in the months to come. These are important tests to make sure everything is ready for astronauts to fly into space. India's journey into space is both impressive and inspiring. They're working hard to join the exclusive group of nations capable of sending their own astronauts into space. With each successful mission, they get closer to achieving their dream. Another update we have is about the SpaceX's Starlink success. SpaceX is making significant strides with its Starlink project. Jonathan Hoefler, the vice president of Starlink, recently announced a major financial milestone. SpaceX is no longer absorbing the costs of producing Starlink terminals, a crucial component for their internet service. This achievement is the result of scaling up production and expanding their service, which began in 2019 with the launch of the first 60 Starlink satellites. In the past, SpaceX used to cover some of the costs associated with the antennas that customers use to access the Starlink internet service. However, this is no longer the case. The company has managed to reach a point where they can produce these terminals without the need for subsidies. This is a significant step forward for the Starlink project and SpaceX as a whole. Jonathan Hoefler highlighted the importance of mass production in this achievement, stating that it's one of our keys to success. This means that by producing these terminals on a larger scale, they've been able to reduce the overall cost of manufacturing, making it financially sustainable. At the World Satellite Business Week conference, Hoefler mentioned, "We were subsidizing terminals, but we've been iterating on our terminal production so much that we're no longer subsidizing terminals, which is a good place to be." This shift represents a significant step toward financial stability for the Starlink project. Starlink satellite manufacturing initially incurred a cost of around $3,000 per antenna unit. By early 2021, SpaceX had managed to reduce this cost to about $1,300 per unit. While this was a substantial reduction, it was still more than double the price of a terminal for consumers, which is priced at $599. Hoefler's comments indicate that SpaceX has not only matched but potentially beaten the $599 price for manufacturing a single unit. This success can be attributed to the company's relentless pursuit of scalability. Like many of Elon Musk's ventures, SpaceX focuses on scaling its operations to achieve sustainability and profitability.
So that's all about today's episode. See you tomorrow, and until then, goodbye.